2.
Hey there, guys. Greeting from the bunker, I guess you could say, and here in our hallowed halls, and the Holy Spirit's still residing. There's no doubt about it. Hopefully the Holy Spirit's still residing in you. You are the temple of the Holy Spirit, and we love that. Boy, a lot has happened. My son was here yesterday, and he sat in and he did the devotional thought, and I believe it was out of Psalms chapter 3. I was so glad to see that, and to allow him to take the word and to open it up to you also. Hey, listen, we care for you. We love you here at the church. We are staying faithful and committed to making sure that we're reaching out and figuring out new ways to do what we're doing. Just to remind you, remember that Sunday morning at 9:30, you'll get a reminder earlier Sunday morning, but you may want to put this down and put an alarm to it, whatever. 9:30, our service will be streamed live on Facebook, and you will have links to how you can get to it and everything else. And then on our YouTube page, you will be able to watch at your leisure after that. They'll download it and after we're done the streaming. So if you don't have time Sunday morning first thing, pick it up during the day whenever you want to. And then that night at 6:30, we're going to have what we're calling it 2 or 3. That's out of Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. And so we're going to come together and offer up a cyber prayer at that time. We'll be here. We'll be streaming it out as long as we're allowed to. And we're asking that you would just stream in, that you would tune in, that you would come down and not here, obviously, but open up your element that you have in front of you there, whether it's your computer, your laptop, your phone, whatever it is you watch us on. And you have a chance then to comment. You have a chance to ask questions. What we really want from you are your prayer requests. Now, obviously, we're going to have some prayer requests. So we're asking that you send in your prayer requests. Maybe you know of someone who's unfortunately contracted the corona disease. Maybe you know of someone that may have been exposed. Maybe you know of someone who's really frightened and lonely at this time. We're asking that you would send that prayer request in. We're not asking for full names or anything like that. You can just simply say, hey, would you pray for Gary? He's struggling right now in this area. Hey, another area that I know a lot of people are struggling are jobs and with work and the finances. And there's a lot of fluid things happening right now with all that. And the government is offering to bail out, but we're not sure who they're going to bail out and how much that's going to be. People have lost jobs. They're not sure how long that loss of a job is going to be. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty right now. And so that leads me into what is my third installment of this. Now, tomorrow, just so you understand, we're going to take that time off, kind of give you guys a break also. And so you don't have to necessarily look for a new video from us tomorrow, but you can go back into our YouTube and check out some of the other things. There's interviews on there that we've done, all kinds of things. So you may want to check that out. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about this thought that I had about this virus and the things that it's doing. Remember, we're kind of looking at this time together, and as we've coined it, and it's right up over my shoulder there, and it looks really good, is real time. Real time standing for what's happening right now, what's going on in real time with all of this, and thoughts that we've had on it. And I just put down a few thoughts a little while ago in my day, and Alyssa, who's down here with me, was kind enough to come and set this up. So first of all, I want to say this, just so you understand. I had the privilege, again, talking to what I believe to be, in his field, one of the leading surgeons, doctors that I know. And in fact, he comes out to the congregation here. And he and I had an impromptu chat over the phone. And I said to him, Doc, in your position and your sense of what this is all about, one being terrified, the sky is falling, we're all doomed, this is the bubonic plague all over again. Or 10 being, there's nothing to worry about, you don't need to worry about a thing, you don't even need to care about this is all just fake. I said, where are you? He said, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I know I'm not at 1, but I'm also not at 10. In other words, he told me, he said, probably a little bit between it. In other words, is there some hyperbole involved here? Sure. How many of us remember when the media says things like, the storm of the century, and then you get a half an inch of rain, right? Or how many times have we been told, is your basement killing you? You know, have you ever seen those highlights, or they try to get you to tune back in? Is your basement killing you? And you're like, no, but the clown in my basement might kill me. So Hopefully there's not a clown in your basement, by the way. You understand what I'm saying. The media, sometimes they can kind of create this fervor, this storm, because let's face it, part of what they do is sell advertisement. And the way you get people to advertise is to make sure you have something juicy that'll pull in numbers and so forth and so on. And they all do it. But in this case, there is some reality to all this. People are dying, guys, around the world. Here in America, we still haven't faced the brunt of it, I don't believe. Hopefully it'll be tamped down. You guys have heard all about the curve, and so it doesn't spike. And that's what we're doing this all for, right? We're enduring right now, so hopefully that this thing flattens out a little bit. There's more of a curve to it. You know what that means? That means less people have died. I don't know about you, but for me as a follower of Christ, if I by my actions or my inaction can help someone to stay alive, I want to do that. I just feel the compulsion I have to do that. That's what Jesus would want me to do. There are people who are very sick. And just so you understand also, I've been hearing more and more, it's not just elderly anymore. It's not like, 80-year-old people. There's also now, the age is going down more and more and more. And, sometimes these viruses will morph and do other things. So people are sick and people are dying. That's my first point. And I hope you take that seriously. I hope you understand that. The second thing I want to tell you about there, though, is what we talked about over a couple times too, and that was the economic situation that's happening as a result of this. Look, it's one thing to be fearful about and you can go, well, we'll make it through. Look, I get the sniffles and I get a cold and I get a sneeze, whatever, And maybe that's all you might get if you do get corona. It doesn't mean you're going to get corona, and it doesn't mean you're going to die. Certainly, the vast, vast, vast majority of people who contract corona are not going to die. But the financial hit that many people are going to take is going to impact every one of us. In fact, I would dare say most of the people out there listening to me right now have been impacted in one way or another by this. And if you haven't, you will be. I've talked to many people, friends of mine, neighbors who have lost jobs already. Now, under the guise that we're going to get it back once the economy recovers and so forth. But see, nobody knows when that's going to be. Nobody understands that. Look, I still hold optimistically that it's going to be a few weeks and everything's going to be back to normal, and que sera, sera. In a few months, we'll be laughing about this. Well, not really laughing, but looking back on it and thinking, wow, we weathered that, we're all the way through it. But in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, a lot of pain. If you have an opportunity to be Christ to someone, maybe you stored up a few extra things, and you can go over. I know we're going to a house today, my wife and I, to leave a bag of groceries. And just to help somebody out is all it is. That may be something simple, but we've had that done to us in the past when we've been in some struggles financially, and people have helped us. And it was a huge help for us. It was a real encouragement. The other thing I want to talk to you about, we talked about fear, we talked about anxiety and all these other things. But what I want to talk to you about today is something near and dear to my heart as I see this ongoing. And it involves what we're doing here right now. And that is me sitting in front of a camera, or Josiah. That is having the worship team up here in front of a camera, and the seats empty around us. And it's the whole idea of this cyber way we're doing things. Now look, I appreciate the fact that we're able to come to you in this way. In fact, I love the fact that we can come to you in this way. In the middle of this crisis, I think it's great that we can come to you in this way. That we can still make contact, that you still can tune in. I want you to be fed, even in the midst of these extreme conditions. I still want you to be fed, and I want you to feel connected. I don't want you to feel lonely or isolated. And if you'll keep tuning in, you'll keep in contact, call the office, whatever you need to do. I want you to know that there's a place for you, that we here at Calvary are taking this very seriously. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, do I look forward to the day when we're reconnected physically, when we're all in the auditorium together, when we're able to minister to one another, when we're able to actually, we may not be able to hug in the manner and take hands in the manner that we used to, but when we can actually be connected together, to physically see ourselves connected. I know there are a lot of people that this is the way they do church. They do it cyber. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you, I think there's something in the scriptures that lends itself to the idea that it's good to be together. That it's good to be together. Let me share with you a couple thoughts that I have on that. And I promise I'm not going to keep you here very long, and we'll get you out of here. It says to us in the book of Ecclesiastes, by the way, chapter 4, verses 9 and 10, that two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. Now, the idea of being together. Can you do that on cyberspace? Sure you can, absolutely. But it says there to us, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Now let me ask you a question, and I really believe this. Can all that be done over cyberspace? Sure. Can it all be done looking into a camera and FaceTiming someone on your phone or whatever? Absolutely. But there's something intrinsically, I think, embedded in that thought about being there for one another, about being there to help one another up, to encourage one another. You know, you can watch me on this and you don't really get a sense of what my day is like. But if you come in here and sit down and I have a chance to sit down across from you, see your body language, what you're saying, how you're saying it, see the expressions and the way you're expressing yourself, I get a much better feel for who you are. One of the reasons I want to be back together again as a family, and I'm longing for that, is for that reason. I want to be able to read your body, your face, what you're doing, what you're going through, and be able to get that and to understand it. And sometimes, quite honestly, and as horrible as it sounds in the world we're living today, sometimes you just need a touch on the shoulder. Sometimes you simply need a hug, you know? That goes a long way. Right now, we're in the 6-foot arena, and there's going to be a lot of people for a long time. They're going to want to stay 6 foot away. I can appreciate it, but I like a good hug. I like the idea that we can come together and talk that way. Next, one of the greatest theologians that ever lived outside of Jesus Christ was the Apostle Paul. Listen to what Paul says about this. Paul said, while we are apart, listen, this is my heart, this is what I feel. While we are apart, he says, may we endeavor. What does it mean to endeavor? To strongly desire. To strongly desire. You know how it is. At nighttime, you're watching late night TV, and that ad comes on for Breyer's ice cream, and now you're endeavoring to have mint chocolate chip ice cream, right? You're endeavoring. Well, to endeavor is to strongly desire. While we are apart, may we strongly desire, the more eagerly, Paul says, and with great, great, great desire, to see you face to face. Guys, that's my prayer. I hope that's your prayer. As I look around these empty seats, to see them filled again, to see people interacting and laughing and getting to know one another, that I eagerly desire. That's where the church is functioning. That's where the church is doing what they need to do here so they can go out there and truly be the church. That's found in 1 Thessalonians 2 and 17, by the way. Paul goes on and says in Romans chapter 1, for all my Calvinists who are watching, you were chosen to watch this right now. So let me lay something out to you. Romans chapter 1, 11 and 12. For I long to see you. For I long to see you. Boy, do I miss you guys. And I hope you miss one another. And I hope you long. Look, take that to heart. Pick up a phone. Pick up a phone. Pick up a phone. You don't even have flips anymore, do you? Pick up a phone. Go online. Send a text. Tweet out. Whatever it is you're doing to stay in contact with people. Reach out to a brother or sister in the Lord, man. Encourage them. They need to be encouraged. You need to be encouraged. Set up a time where you're talking to various people. Whatever it takes, you know. Paul says, for I long to see you, that I may impart to you some spiritual gift to strengthen you. I want to see you so I can strengthen you. That's what we should be wanting to do. What is that we may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, both yours and mine. Guys, you hear what he's saying? We need to come together to encourage each other, to build one another up. When you're hurting, I want to hurt with you. When you're laughing, I want to laugh with you. When you're crying, I want to cry with you. Whatever it is, I want to be part of that with you. Again, can I do that in cyber world? Absolutely. But there's something intrinsically wonderful about being there together also. The church functioning as the church. I'm going to close here. It's Hebrews chapter 10. It says, let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering. Guys, there's a lot of people wavering right now. There's a lot of people scared. There's a lot of people worried who call themselves followers of Christ, and yet they've allowed the circumstances to dictate to them their joy, to dictate to them their security. And that's what they're doing. Don't be that person. Hold fast the confession of your hope. You start to waver, confess Christ again. Jesus, I know I love you. I know you love me. Jesus, I know you're with me. I'm going to follow you. No matter what comes my way, Jesus, I'm going to follow you. Confession of your faith without wavering. For he who promised is faithful. Hear that? Not you, not me. He who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. I can't wait to get back together with you guys so we can stir one another up to love and good works. Not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some. Listen, none of us have chosen to neglect meeting together, did we? This has sort of been forced upon us. But encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Hey guys, we need each other, don't we? And I think somewhere down in your heart, you miss one another. I know I miss you guys. I look forward to the day when we're all sitting back here together. I look forward to the day when I'm driving either here or away from here on a Sunday and I see the other church parking lots filling up. I look forward to the day when I talk to my brothers, pastors in the area and say, hey, how'd you guys do today? Oh, we had a great Sunday. It was a blessing. I look forward to the day when I hear these good reports coming in. Listen, thank God we have the cyber world right now. Thank God that we have this because it's allowed us to stay in connection for now. So I'm not taking that for granted at all. And I'm not bemoaning that. But boy, there's a higher calling. And I think the higher calling is for you and I to be together. So until we're back together, please keep looking online for these reports and for everything else that we have going on. God bless you, and keep looking up because your redemption is drawing nigh. Be blessed.